Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iOS today is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
It's spring cleaning time, and we're going to get rid of your old stuff and sell it with an app.
And after you do that, I'll show you how to sleep like a baby.
Oh, and a new 360-degree camera that lets you go live straight from your iPhone.
Neat! It's time for iOS Today. iOS Today is brought to you by Tracker, a coin-sized tracking device that pairs with your smartphone and keeps you from losing your most valued possessions. Visit thetracker.com right now and enter promo code iOS Today to receive a free Tracker Bravo with any purchase. And by Texture. Access the world's most popular magazines anytime, anywhere using your smartphone or tablet. Try it free for 14 days at texture.com/twit. I'm sorry. iOS Today time. Hello, Megan Morrone.
Hello, Leo Laporte.
This is the show where we talk about your iPad, your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your Apple TV. Have I left anything out?
I don't think so.
I think that's the range.
I wish there were more things. I always want more things. Apple Car.
Your Apple Car?
That's in my mind right now.
We're planning the future. You're a flying Apple Car?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be funny if they just skipped cars with tires and went straight to the air?
I would like that.
That's what Lisa wants. She wants a flying car.
Does she want to drive it, or does she want a driverless flying car?
Well,
pilotless?
So if you ask me, the idea of flying cars that aren't driverless is terrifying, right? Because crashes, they'll fall out of the air. I mean, how are you going to regulate that if everybody has a little mini plane in their driveway? No, they have to be autonomous. Otherwise, that's not going to work.
Okay, good.
I hope.
I'm glad we settled that.
But I could see my Uber flying car coming to me.
I hope
sexually harassing me from space.
I don't know what to say about that.
There's nothing to say.
No, we will talk about Uber, I think, a little bit later, so we can get to that.
But right now
it's spring cleaning. Get rid of your stuff. My idea was to do all the different apps that you can use to sell your old stuff. You, Leo, you just give all your old stuff away, and I enjoy that because I am often.
You're the recipient.
Yes, and when I say old, it's like usually like you used it twice.
We do, when we sell stuff, we kind of take the easy way out. We go to our sponsor, Gazelle, and they buy it. You can also, by the way, if you have an iPhone, take it to Apple. Many carriers will also buy them because there's a pretty brisk resale market for iPads and iPhones. It's an easy thing for them to turn around. So you might check with Apple if you're ready to buy a new iPhone, for instance.
Yeah, and we're talking about all stuff, not just gadgets, furniture. And as someone in the chat room said, it's good to donate it. You get a tax deduction.
That's the other thing I often do. Although, now that you mention it, I did sell a few things when I moved from my smaller place to our big house. We had extra furniture and stuff because we were merging two households. So I did, with the help of Lisa, because she's really good at this, use eBay to sell stuff. And we sold a couple of things, and then the things we couldn't sell on eBay, we ended up giving to the Veterans of America. Have a kind of a it's like Goodwill, but it's for wounded vets, and I like to support that. So that we often give them stuff. That's a great way to. Boy, it's a great feeling, isn't it, to declutter?
Yes.
Now, when you moved, that's kind of. There's two ways to do this. One is to just pack everything and worry about it later, right? It's like such a pain to go through your stuff that you just put it all in boxes, and then you've got garage full of boxes that you never look at. The better way to do it, but it takes more time, is to declutter and then move. You move less stuff, and you really, when you unpack, you feel good.
We did a little bit of both. We decluttered. I think we brought a box to Goodwill every day, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah.
And then we packed stuff when we ran out of time, and then we decluttered again as we were unpacking.
That's good.
And I've kind of followed the rule of storing. I didn't want to store anything unless I knew when I was going to use it. Like we stored all the holiday decorations. Like I know I'm going to use that. But then there's other things that I still haven't unpacked. I don't know what to do. Like my old yearbooks. Like you can't donate those. Nobody wants those. My kids don't want to look at them. I don't really look at them.
You can't bring them to a used bookstore.
I can't bear to throw them away.
Now, you didn't grow up in this area. If you were a Petaluma and you had old Petaluma High School yearbooks, I think you could have found. So maybe go back home. Where did you grow up? What town?
Houston.
See, go back to Houston and say, anybody want these? Peddle them on the streets.
Yeah.
1987, great year. Yearbook. Come get your yearbooks. I don't know, maybe not.
I graduated from high school in 1991.
Okay, I made you a little older.
You did?
I wasn't making you older. I was making you a genius.
Yes.
She graduated at 12.
Yes, exactly. All right, so I thought there's a lot of these apps that aren't eBay and they aren't Craigslist. So I decided to check them out. And one is called Let Go.
I like the name.
Yeah, let go of the stuff. And it's good for giving stuff away too, just free. Like this stuff, here's something like moving boxes. We had a ton of moving boxes. So Let Go is mostly.
Yeah, after you move, you have all those boxes. Yeah, and they're valuable. You spend hundreds of dollars to buy them.
Yeah.
Save a neighbor some money.
Okay, so here it is. Here's what I like about Let Go. It's only an iPhone app. That's what I don't like about it. So it's hard to use your iPad, but they'll categorize the item for you. So, for example, I do have this little side table that I wanted to get rid of. And let's see where the picture of that is. Here, okay, I don't want to edit. So I just uploaded the photo of it. There it is. They're my little Orbeez.
I'd buy that. That's
this
cute.
It's from IKEA. It's nice.
That's cute.
Right. But I just uploaded it and it automatically thought I was selling my brand new TV too. So it described
Take that TV
it as
out of the picture.
rectangular brown wooden table and wall mount flat screen television for $200.
No.
So
fix that.
So you can see that.
Wait a minute, it does photo recognition.
It does.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's good because you can, like, if you're selling a bunch of stuff, it's a total, it's annoying. So, this chalkboard I wanted to sell here.
But you were able to edit it and say.
Yes, you can edit it. Or I was selling
TV
what else?
not included.
This little Sherry Squibbles.
What's a Sherry Squibbles?
I didn't even know it was a Sherry Squibbles, but it just looked at it. This was something my kids.
You know
didn't
what's the
want.
giveaway? 5 eyes.
Yeah,
that makes it a Sherry Squibbles.
It's from Monsters University, and sadly it doesn't look like this because Brian's dog Tibbs. I should have brought this. He took a little bite. He took her sweater. He ate it. And then he also took a bite out of her, so hopefully no one wants to sell it.
Did you mark it sold as is?
Yeah. Well, someone asked me, is it new? And I was like, no. Who wants to buy an old stuffed animal? It's on my desk, John, if you want to.
Especially a chewed old stuffed animal.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's worth more. I mean, Brian is pretty famous, and this is dog Tibbs.
Yes. It's signed by Mr. Tibbs. How effective was this? Did you sell a lot of stuff? Were you able to sell any of it?
Nothing here.
Okay.
But I did find some stuff I wanted to buy, like these stacking chairs.
There's exactly the wrong.
Those are pretty nice chairs, don't you think?
Those are nice.
Those are nice. Don't you think they would look?
But now, is this local?
You put in there's Sherry Squibbles.
Oh, poor Sherry Squibbles.
Sherry
she apparently had abdominal surgery.
Yeah. So now how much would you pay for Sherry Squibbles?
Also, she's a little crusty with Mr. Tibbs' saliva.
Yeah. So she'll belong to Mr. Tibbs now. We're not going to sell
Okay,
her.
Mr.
Sorry.
Tibbs, you get it.
Sorry, all the people. So no, I sold nothing. I mean, I did probably annoy Alex because we had this whole conversation. I said, and it's got messages already built in.
Somebody asked you about Mr. Tibbs?
No, this was the chairs.
Sherry?
This is the chairs. Like I said.
Hey, those are nice. How much?
Yeah.
But where are they?
That's a good question.
You're not going to want to ship those chairs. It costs more than the chairs.
I think he's in Napa. I think it found out that it was close. Not far.
Okay.
So, yeah.
By the way, do they call your dog Mr. Tibbs?
There we go. So, yeah, not far at all.
Let me show you something that would be only in your neighborhood. How about that? Hey, do you know about Nextdoor?
I do. I don't want to know that much about my neighbors, so I haven't joined Nextdoor.
The idea is you find your neighborhood. Let's see. It's not letting me type. Or you could do your street address. Let's do our office.
Yeah, don't put your street address.
Well, it turns out I didn't know this, but Burke is trying to start a Redwood Way neighborhood.
Oh.
So you have to have a sufficient number of people in your neighborhood for it. I need a zip code. Okay, maybe it really is designed for an iPhone because it's just not. And I don't have my iPhone here to show you, but I am a member of Nextdoor in my neighborhood, and it's interesting. We get a lot of for sale things, and the nice thing is if you're buying from your neighbors, you could just go next door and pick it up. You get to say what area you're in. How many people do we need in our neighborhood, Burke, to make it a true Nextdoor? I think he said we need 100 people.
I'll join this neighborhood.
We should join our local neighborhood.
Could we have like
You can do this online as well. which would probably be a better way to do it.
Could we have like block parties during the day?
Yeah, it's all sorts of stuff. It's even things like there was a suspicious guy walking down the street, or I mean, it's a social network, which is really interesting, just for your neighborhood. So I really like this idea, and it is an app. And I get notifications from it and stuff. So I think it's kind of fun, and it would definitely be a good way. I see this all the time for people selling stuff, but also need a house sitter. Is there anybody willing to come over and feed my pet? That kind of thing.
Lost pets.
Lost pets. It's a great source for that. I see a lot of lost pets in our neighborhood because we live in the country. So that's called Nextdoor, and it's free. It's a social network.
I had a few more things to add about Let Go. Which
I'm sorry, I
that's
interrupted.
Okay. That's okay.
I really had enough, frankly.
Okay. Well, you get some more.
Okay, more. Okay.
They're in-app purchases. So if you want to sell your stuff faster, that's how they make their money, like $1.99 to get on the top of the list. But a viewer, Matt Plovin, said he used Let Go once, and it was all spam. So, all people saying they want to pay more than what you're offering, and they'll offer a cashier's check, those kinds of things. So be careful.
Scamming.
Yeah. Spams and scams.
Not merely spamming, but scamming.
And I got a lot of people who I posted on Twitter who said they use Facebook Marketplace because that's where the community is.
That's the easiest way to do it, and that's brand new from Facebook.
Yeah.
And I don't really like it because I see a lot of offers for stuff I don't care about. I guess I should turn that off.
Well, it's Marketplace if you have to update your app, and then it's one of the tabs. So you don't have to see.
I guess I don't have to hit the tab. I keep hitting these new tabs, and they drive me crazy.
Yeah, so that's the Marketplace tab. So this is Petaluma. So it says,
oh, nice.
You can see all these things. And again, like I get distracted by all these things I could buy. Look at this iPhone. Or is it an iPad? It looks like an iPad. iPad mini.
See,
but
so this is why this is all in all a bad idea, because you're now not selling things, you're buying things.
Okay, well, let me put something up for sale. What am I selling?
Nothing. You're going to buy more crap.
I'm going to sell...
Now, I don't have this in my app.
You don't? Have you updated?
Well, I don't know, because I think I'm updating it. Let me see if I
White
Did
table.
it just come out today?
No.
Yeah, see, I'm up to date, it says on my... So not everybody will have this yet. I do have it on my app at home, which is I'm surprised to see it's not on this iPad. I'm gonna sell this for $0, this white table. And then I hit next. I could post it to more places, which I could post it on my profile if I want to spam my followers, but I don't really want to spam my followers. So I select a category, furniture, and then I hit post. And that's it. There you go.
There's that
it's
white
just
table for free.
That easy.
So here was the IKEA sideboard for $200. I got the most responses. I got a lot of people asking if they could pay $150.
Maybe that's a hint that you're asking.
Right. Well, I just put it up. Maybe.
Yeah.
So this white
table is free. I like it that people can do that because that'll give you an idea.
Oh, there are issues with my item. What's duplicate post? Oh, I guess I did it. Look at that. That's good because I already posted it.
Yeah. So no need to post it again.
No. It's a pretty nice white table for free, though, isn't it? I don't even know why we have that thing.
It's about as simple as you can get. It's probably IKEA, right?
Do you want it?
No. You know who might want it, though, is Henry. He has a new hobby. Well, I only have one video of it, but I think he does it more than once. He jumps off buildings onto tables and smashes them.
Oh, okay. Well, then you do want it.
So he might actually be interested.
I'll give it to Henry.
I'll buy it and say, Henry, I got a table for you to jump off onto.
Now, let me ask you a question.
He says, by the way, I said, why are you doing that? He says, the chicks love it.
Does he put it on YouTube and get lots of hits and
or
stuff?
Snapchat. You know, they don't
use YouTube?
Use YouTube. They like to Snapchat these days.
Would you buy, is this a place where you would buy an iPhone? Because I'm sort of in the market for one for my kids. If
it's a neighbor or somebody nearby, I would.
So,
I'd be very careful about
Alex in San Francisco, $300.
You want to go see Alex. And here's the reason. It's if I stole your iPhone, I might list it there, even though you, as a buyer, would never be able to use it because you have to unlock it with the original password before you can use it.
Yeah,
you have to make sure Alex does that. So it makes me nervous. That's why I prefer buying used from places like Gazelle or Apple, because you know it's going to work.
Okay, good to know.
Same thing with eBay. I get a lot of calls on the radio show from people who say, I bought this on computer on eBay, but it's got 4 accounts on it, and I don't know what the passwords are to any of them. And it's you don't know what's going on.
You don't know.
You don't know what's going on when you buy it like that.
Okay, so speaking of getting rid of our stuff, what about the KonMari?
Well, knowing what stuff to get rid of is kind of a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked before about Marie Kondo. She wrote the book. Is it still popular, on getting rid of stuff?
The Ancient Art of Tidying Up.
She's the one who says, if it doesn't spark joy, don't keep it. And you even did this in your closet, right?
I've done it twice.
Yeah. And so she's promised when she came out with the book that she'd do an app. It finally came out at the end of the year, last year. And so it's you can ask a question or take a photo. This is the social network, and see what other people have done. Like, I'm going to make my bra drawer look like that.
You totally should. I know you're joking, but it really is a good way to store your bras.
So you get ideas.
And what she says is they like to be like that. Like,
they're happier.
Hang up your clothes
Well, you
the
know
way
what they
they
don't?
want to be
I'll
hung
show you
up.
what they don't like to be like. And another photo on here, which you could do your before and your after photos. This, they say, is after. But I think this is the pile of clothes they're getting rid of. I hope so, anyway.
Yeah. That's kind of weird to give away. Is that a bra right there, too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't like it like that. Anyway, this is, oh no, those, see, people are doing piles of clothes for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all the clothes I'm parting with. In this case, all the clothes I'm keeping. And so, but what this is, that's a social network. You also have community notifications. You have news of Marie. Here's her interview with Tim Ferriss, how to make difficult decisions that will change your life. So that's kind of cool.
She's very trendy. She spoke at South by Southwest this year.
Oh yeah, she's hot, right? You can hire her or her, trained consultants, or even become a trained consultant. And this is, of course, the last tab, but the most important tab, using the KonMari method to organize your home. So this actually is encapsulated in the app. So
I need to work on my kimono. That's like all the other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like
so that's her
your
name
CDs.
for CDs, stationery. This is the messy drawer.
Well, the DVDs, like I can't bear to get rid of them.
Right. She's Japanese, so there's some interesting terminology. Books. So these are checklists. This is the last thing you do, right? The sentimental items. You save that for last. Cards, letters, journals, scrapbooks, your yearbooks. That's the hardest one. And so she saves that. The easiest one, of course, is clothing. And that's the one you did. You've done those a couple of times, right? You see, I have till May 11th, so I better get going here.
Oh, yeah.
Put all your clothing in one spot. Make sure you've gathered every last piece of clothing. The one thing about this app, and it's, I think because it's Japanese, the most important stuff is on the right and on the bottom, right? So these are the last things you do. You're supposed to start here. So maybe it's because they go right to left. I don't know why, but just you'll get used to that. It's not a big deal. And then this is me, and who I'm following, nobody. Who my followers are, nobody. How many categories I've finished, none. How many badges I have, none. No photos, no clothing, no books. But I do think having a community around your KonMari, if this is what you want to do, and do read her book. It's on Audible and it's inexpensive. Learn the art of tidying up so you understand the methodology. There really is a methodology to all of this. So you said you did it twice. I know you did your closet.
Well, yeah, I did. I mean, I sort of used that method when I was packing and decluttering. I just held everything. Does it still bring me joy?
At its basic level.
Thank it for its service.
Yeah, that's fun. Does this, I mean, that's sufficient. You go, does this spark joy? Hell no. And then you get... Do you think Mr. Tibbs can reach it in the lights up there?
Tibbs liked it. So
yeah, well, Tibbs would, but that's the point. It's individual. Tibbs would say, oh, yes, that sparks much joy.
Yeah.
There he is, looking joyful.
Is Tibbs a hoarder, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
This does help. It won't cure hoarding, but it gives you a methodology that might help. Because really, we don't want clutter's bad. We don't want clutter.
It makes you feel bad.
It literally does, yes.
Yeah, I also listen to Gretchen Rubin's podcast. You know Gretchen Rubin?
No, I
She's
don't.
The Happier. She wrote a book about being happy, and she has the Happier podcast, and she talks a lot about this sort of stuff. Like, she talks about dump zones. Do you have dump zones? Like, it's like the area where you put everything. Yeah. Like, you got to clear those
That's called my
off.
office.
Yeah. Like
No,
a flat
literally.
surface. It's like nature abhors a vacuum,
Yeah.
like a flat surface.
I have an
absorbs.
armchair I would love to sit in, but I haven't seen the chair part of it in years.
Focus on that. Just go home and focus just on that.
You know what's
Clear
full
it
of? And I probably shouldn't have a hard time getting rid of this. Drones.
Oh.
Broken drones.
Oh.
Because I have never yet successfully flown a drone. Every time I fly it into something, I even have some pretty expensive drones. They're just sitting in that chair because I can't bear to get rid of them. They've only flown once.
Well, you know, I've constantly been thinking about your memoirs that I'm going to write one day, and
Yes.
I'm thinking about titles. And An Armchair of Broken Drones.
It's kind of my life.
Someone take a note of that. Armchair of Broken Drones.
Even the Ottoman. It's an armchair and an ottoman. Even the Ottoman has drones on it.
I'm gonna come
Drones,
over.
drone parts, remote controls.
I'm surprised that Lisa allows that.
Well, it's an interesting thing because my lovely wife is really great at tidying, and she doesn't like a mess. So the only place that a mess is allowed is in this man cave that is isolated from the rest of the house.
That's where the VR is, too?
No, the VR is in Michael's man cave or boy
he has
cave.
his own.
Yes.
There's a man cave and a boy cave?
Yes, there's a
That's
boy
so
cave.
Sweet.
But the boy cave is kept pretty tidy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think we've learned a lot. I have one more app that might help you when you get around to clearing out the...
Burke, will you take my drones, Burke? I'm going to bring you my drones. You can
I'll
fix
take
them. No, they're broken. You don't want them. I have the very nice Bebop drone that every time you press the button to go, it goes like this. It just falls over and sits there and spins. It's like a drone with a broken horn. It's
Yeah.
not.
Burke should have like a drone camp, put together the broken drone
Burke
camp.
has some of my stuff. He has 2 of my AV receivers. They just sit there. I think he's got the clutter in this business, in this building. Who's got the dump zone?
I don't think he does. Have you seen this? He has the storage unit. He has a storage unit, which is where he keeps most of the stuff. I don't know. Did you know that Burke has his own storage unit?
Personal storage unit?
No, it's the Twit storage
We
unit.
have it, yeah.
He has it organized perfectly.
Oh, yeah. No,
I mean,
Burke-
maybe John
Burke's good
has
at
it
this.
organized with him too. No, it's all Burke.
Good Burke.
John's
Good going
like,
on,
I'm
Burke.
staying
Good-
away from
good
that.
Burke's doing it. Good.
Okay, 5 miles. That's the last app I'll talk to you
Okay.
about. And it is similar to Let Go. It's got, it has the same sort of features where you can pay more to get it noticed. So I noticed that it wasn't 5 miles away. Like it would imply that when you sell something, it's
Within 5 miles.
miles. But I got a person from Vallejo.
This launched with a lot of fanfare when it came out, yeah.
So it's pretty easy. Like, I want to
Scooch it
sell
down a little bit because we're missing the top of the screen.
Oh,
yeah,
there
you
we go. So I want to sell. Let's see. I am going to add a photo, take a photo.
You don't really want to sell. You want to buy.
I know.
You think you want to sell. You say you want to sell.
Got to give it access to my camera. Then I got to start over.
F and Dunn has a good solution. He says, put a piece of masking tape on every hanger holding something in your closet. When you wear an item, you remove the tape. And at the end of the year, anything that you haven't taken the tape off of, you should purge.
Let's see what happens if I try to sell you.
You know, I've been wondering what that piece of tape on the back of my head was all about.
Are you wanted? Let's
Wanted. Dead or alive.
$100 for a
Really?
Leo.
That's not a bad price. How long do they get
What
to
are you
keep me?
selling, Leo?
My co-host.
Forever.
Forever for $100?
Man. I'm probably immediately going to get kicked off of this app.
Does he come with his own man cave? Yeah, you're not allowed to sell people on 5
Probably
Mile.
not. I'm
No.
probably
Yeah.
just gotten in a lot of
garage
trouble.
sales. Are you only slightly
Must go.
used? Yes, must go. You marked it. Must go.
$4.99 for 7 days. Continue. Then you enter your credit card
Did you
information.
say slightly used?
Yeah.
Rode hard, put away wet.
Yeah. So let go. I tried to sell some things on there. No, 5 miles. This one is 5 miles. You say that this got a lot of fanfare?
Yeah, when it came out. No, I didn't call the app Rode Hard and Put Away Wet. I called me Rode Hard.
Oh.
Although that wouldn't be a bad name for an app. Rode Hard and Put Away Wet. The stuff you don't really, nobody really wants. That's where you sell it.
So yeah, I tried to buy these Power Beats, but they didn't answer. Parker didn't answer for. I wanted to buy his Power
I
Beats.
feel like this is.
I think Facebook
kind of a
Marketplace.
desperate- yeah, Facebook might be the
Marketplace
best.
or eBay or Craigslist.
And still always be careful about fraud. Now, there's also digital cleanup. You know, our digital lives, it sometimes really get cluttered because you don't notice them, right? There's just bits on a hard drive. But one really good example would be your contacts. And this is a contact cleaner called Smart Merge that actually is from the same company that makes a contact cleaner, identical one, called Cleaner. So that's $10. This one's $3, and they have a free version. Go with the $3 one, Smart Merge. Maybe the new version will have more features. So back up your contacts. That's a good idea, right? Because we're going to modify them. See, I have 2,211 contacts. That's probably, there's a lot of duplicates in there, right? So I'm going to upload my contacts, and it didn't take too long. And now the contacts are safe on cloud. Who's cloud? I don't know. Somebody's got all my contacts. Now, do we want that automatically? No, I don't want to turn that on. So I'm gonna close the auto. Stay unprotected. Yes, I'm gonna stay unprotected. Now, this is the real reason, and frankly, I would recommend you not give them access on the cloud to your contacts. And we're going to talk about why that's a bad idea in our news section. Allow notifications. Let Smart Merge notify you about duplications. Yeah, no, you don't have to do that. It says there, you'd think out of 2,000 plus contacts I'd have more duplicates, but it says there are only 128 duplicates. Let's show the possible merges. Actually, I don't want to show the merges because there'll be phone numbers and things like that. But it can tell you why it's duplicate. The contacts, 93 of them are duplicate. Do I have any duplicate phone numbers? No. Duplicate emails? No. Similar names? No. So, in other words, it gives you some information, and then you can merge. Shall I just merge? Why don't I just merge? I'm just going to merge those contacts. Merge 93 contacts. And that's a great thing to do. Now, I'm not sure that this is the best way to do it. I would worry about... You do want to back up, but I'm not sure you'd want to back up on their servers. You do want to back up because what if you merge and it's a bad merge? It does say we got rid of 191 duplicates, merged 93 contacts. There are still 42 duplicates, and I can take a look at those and manually work on those. So that's Smart Merge. Hand merging is not a bad idea, frankly, because I noticed, for instance, I have a restaurant in there that hasn't been open in years. I should probably delete that one. So there's sometimes it's better just to spend some time to make, in my opinion, by hand, one good copy of your contact list. Maybe take a few days to do that, and then delete it everywhere else and make sure that that's the one good copy everywhere. Sync that everywhere. Because that's the way we get these duplicates, right? We're synchronizing on all sorts of different services. Here's another one. This is from Trend Micro, a well-known antivirus company. It's called Dr. Cleaner. Now, since the new iOS update, Dr. Cleaner is not as effective as it used to be. But let's see what it'll do here. You know, is my disk space lower than 10 gigabytes? No, I have 30, but I'm still going to do it. No, they won't let me do it. All right. So when you get really down, clean similar photos and big videos. That's a great idea. So it's going to go through my photos and see if it can find duplicates. There's another way to do this that might be safer, which is with Google Photos. If you use Google Photos to back up, you can have Google Photos delete extras, duplicates, and you know you have a copy on Google's servers, which is great. You see I have 3,001 photos on here. That's taking up a lot of room. It's going through all of them to clean it up. This is the photo and video clean, and then you can see how much extra room you got. Again, I'm being told by some that since the latest iOS update, maybe it's the new file system, maybe it's the fact that Apple in the new iOS update did clean up a lot of stuff. Many people report many gigabytes returned to their system after doing the iOS update. So it's possible that this isn't doing as good a job because it doesn't have as much to do, thanks to Apple. Almost done here with my 3,001 photos.
Almost done.
Almost done.
Computer in the chat room mentioned OfferUp, which was something that I had on my list, but I didn't really test it out. But here it is. If you wanted to buy someone's deodorant for $5,
I am not going to buy used deodorant. Nope, not going to do it. Wait a minute, this is just $5 for not used deodorant? What is this?
It's deodorant.
It's an assortment?
I don't know. Let's ask what do you want to, I want to ask a question?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so this is pretty much the same. No. Like I connect with Facebook, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow. 9.2 gigs recovered.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Again,
yeah, and
I
see,
do
these
think
are duplicates. A lot of these aren't duplicates. So
I'm going to try to sell that white table again.
Sell that white table.
Next table.
Nobody's going to buy that white table.
I want to give it away for free. When I say sell, I mean give it away.
Table. When I say sell, I mean pay people to take it.
Yes. For parts.
It is, you know, don't poo-poo the idea of donating stuff.
No.
It is hard to sell stuff. You get strangers coming to your house and calling your phone, and giving it away. You do get a tax deduction. Every Goodwill and everybody will give you a letter with a tax deduction. That's going to make you a little bit of money, and it's a nice feeling, really, that somebody will be using that needs it. So I a lot of times will give away old toys. Toys are great. Old furniture, stuff that's in good shape. Even clothing, shoes, we'll give it away to Goodwill and others, and I think that's a great thing to do.
I used to feel like I couldn't give anything away because all my stuff was lost.
Yeah, that's until you get the tracker, right?
Exactly.
Yep. Someone bought Steve Jobs half-used cologne, you know.
And his bathrobe.
And his bathrobe?
Uh-huh. For charity.
Yeah, it was a charity auction. Yeah. But when I die, will you not sell my old cologne and bathrobe?
I can't promise that.
Please.
It would make a great chapter in the memoir.
Oh. Okay, but don't sell the toupees.
Okay.
Please.
No.
Those are mine.
I'm
taking them with me. Just put them in the coffin.
Okay.
Okay. Our show. By the way, I never lose my toupees anymore because I put a tracker right on them. No, I don't know if anybody does that, but boy, I do keep the tracker with my keys, my wallet, my bike. Your luggage tracker is a Bluetooth device about the size of a quarter. Weighs a lot less because it's anodized aluminum. It's very light, that you can attach to anything that you don't want to lose. What you do is you pair it to your phone. Your phone can track up to 10 devices at once. That's enough for anybody. And then if your device gets separated from you, your phone, let's say you leave your wallet at the coffee shop and you walk out the door, your phone will beep at you and say you left your wallet, which is really handy. It actually prevents a lot of lost stuff. But let's say maybe you dropped your keys and you don't remember where you dropped them. You fire up the tracker app and it shows on a map where your keys are, the last place it saw your keys. But even more than that, let's say you lost your keys. Of course, the tracker knows where you left them. But let's say then some goody two-shoes named Megan Morrone picks them up and puts them in her pocket, hoping to sell them later upon your death. Then you're going to say, well, I know where I saw them last, where my tracker app saw them last, but I don't know where they are. This is where the tracker's crowd GPS network is amazing. 4.5 million trackers in the wild means there are tracker users all over the world. And whenever their app walks by a tracker, it notifies it notes the unique ID and then notifies the owner. Somebody walks by Megan's desk and says, hey, your keys are here, and I will get a text and a notification, and it'll be on my tracker app. That's where the keys are now. This is awesome. You can also use family sharing. So that means multiple phones can track the same remote control, let's say, or bicycle or tent. Customized two-way separation alerts, so you can have your tracker notify you when you leave your phone behind, or your phone notify you when you leave your tracker behind. There's even a button on the tracker you can press that makes your phone howl, even if it's silenced. You can choose the sound. I like to have it go, hey, I'm here, I'm over here. That way you can find it if it's in the sofa and the cushions or whatever. And it's always good for laughs when people are sitting on my sofa and somebody underneath says, hey, I'm over here. The tracker is the best way to stop searching for stuff you've lost. And on average, people search 55 minutes a day, according to Newsweek, for stuff they've lost, which is ridiculous. But your keys, for instance, it's not like you go, oh, I should look for my keys an hour before I go to work. It's always you're late, you got to run, and now where are my keys? That's just not, the stress is not worth it. 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no reason not to give it a try. And we've got a special offer for you. Go to thetracker.com, load up the shopping cart, get as many trackers as you need, TheTrackr.com. They're very affordable. By the way, replaceable batteries, so you don't have to throw them out after a year. I really like that. And as you're checking out, put in the offer code iOS today, and you'll get an additional free Tracker Bravo with your order. Then just throw one in. The Tracker, TheTrackr.com. And don't forget that promo code, iOS today.
Sad news. The iPhone might be delayed to October or November. You might not get one until 2018.
According to who?
According to everyone.
According to who?
According to 95 Mac, Ming-Chi Kuo.
Ming-Chi Kuo. So Ming-Chi Kuo has a not perfect record, but he does speak for the supply chain in China. So when he says something like this, it means what he's saying is the supply chain says they're not going to have all the parts they need, or they're not going to be ready to ship this. Or in this case, there's a problem, right? He's talking about the fingerprint reader.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of custom ordered cutting edge components that custom OLED display panel.
Apple cannot afford to botch this. I feel like this is important for Apple to get right. It's their 10th anniversary iPhone. On the other hand, you know, we'll wait in line.
Well, a lot of people,
we'll suffer. They'll announce it in September. If it's available in October, that's not the end of the world.
No.
January, but that did happen. It happened with the Pencil. It happened with the AirPods.
Still can't get the AirPods.
And there are other manufacturers like Google. 6 months into the Google Pixel, it's very hard to get, back ordered. So it's not I think that this is maybe a measure of how many phones Apple sells, right? They have a deal with Samsung for 100 million OLED screens.
So I think it will still come out in September, which is a little bit later.
Be announced.
Announced. And then
September is when they traditionally announce the iPhones. And then it's varied. Sometimes it's you pre-order this Friday for delivery in a week. That's been the most common. But also sometimes pre-order in a few weeks for delivery next month. I mean, it can vary. And the AirPods, how long did it take? And they're still not in full supply, right?
I think it took like 6 weeks for me to get mine. But yeah, I mean, for the holidays, they're going to want it out. But a lot of people, I mean, the bulk of people wait anyway, right? They wait a couple months, don't you think, to get theirs?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
really us.
Right.
People who watch this show, people are really like all in on the Apple ecosystem and just have to have the new thing. Now, we have to have it because we want to review it before you buy it. But I think most people really, truthfully, wait for the reviews, wait till their contract is up, wait till they're tired of their old phone. They want to see, is this worth buying? Because when you're spending $1,000 for a device, I don't think you want to be the first, buy it before you've seen any reviews.
No, you got to wait for us.
Right.
Wait for us to get it.
Yeah.
So Mike Isaac from the New York Times had a really interesting post, a story in the Times over the weekend about Travis Kalanick from Uber.
Well,
it's full of tidbits.
That's the thing. I mean, the post itself was, it's all about how he's the bad boy, and he used to be the bad boy, and then Tim Cook chewed him out, and he became, he was somewhat chastened. So it's really a profile of the CEO and founder of Uber. But the tidbits are what's interesting to us.
So the first one, it sounds from the description that Tim Cook didn't really chew him out. Like when I read that, I think like Tim Cook just like gave him a little hand slap.
That's all it takes. No, seriously. But he didn't yell at him. Tim Cook's not a yeller. He probably said, now, Travis, that's against our rules. So let's explain what happened.
Okay, so well, first of all, the story was updated.
And it wasn't even clear.
Yeah, at first Mike Isaac wrote that Uber was tracking iPhones after you removed the Uber app.
And that's not accurate.
And clear. Yeah, then they said they were tagging and identifying, which is unclear what that is as well.
John Gruber at Daring Fireball parsed this and I think came up with the right answer. So you have to understand the problem that Travis Kalanick was trying to solve. People use the Uber app to call a car, just like a cab, and it comes and picks you up. There was a problem with fraud, not so much in the U.S., but in India and other places, China, where Uber drivers, there was this, I think, a flaw in the Uber system, would use multiple phones to pretend they had picked up and dropped off. They had given rides because I guess they made money per ride.
Well, accepting. The more rides you accept, you get a bonus. You get a bonus.
Okay.
So drivers
so
want to do
they were
something.
playing for the bonus. And Uber said, well, we got to stop this because this is defrauding us. These aren't real rides. How do we do this? And they came up with a system that is not allowed by Apple and any app in the App Store. What they did with the Uber application is they figured out using forbidden APIs, deprecated APIs, secret APIs, ways of a program doing something on a phone, they were able to figure out a unique identifier for that iPhone. And what I think John's exactly right, Gruber's exactly right on this. What he says they probably did is they stored that identifier. Because the problem is that phone then is sold or reused in the black market, and they're worried about an Uber driver buying it, putting the Uber app on there. Now that phone is in the database with an identifier, and they say, oh, no, we've seen this phone is now being used maliciously, and they could say, no, we're not going to take those rides. So it was to protect themselves, but they knowingly violated Apple's rules for what apps could do. No app is supposed to track you in the sense that figure out your unique ID. That's just not supposed to happen. Apple trying to protect your privacy. Also, and I think this is maybe even the bigger violation, the thing that really upset Tim Cook, Uber's engineers were instructed to obfuscate, to hide the fact that they were doing that. They knew it was against the rules, and they covered it up. And as always, the cover-up is worse than the violation, or at least it's a bigger problem. So I think John Gruber is absolutely right that that's what was going on. They were violating Apple's rules, uniquely identifying phones. They weren't doing it to violate your privacy, I don't believe. Maybe they were. They were doing it to stop fraud in the Uber system. And that sounds like something Travis Kalanick would do.
Yeah, he's done worse.
I don't like these rules. Apple's keeping me from, preventing fraud on my system. So I'm not going to invade somebody's privacy, but I am going to check to see if this phone's been used before.
So here's my question for you. Apps get kicked out of the App Store. They get not approved from the App Store for all kinds of crazy reasons, and the developers are never explained why. And that's, of course, Apple's right to do that. Right. But to see that Travis Kalanick has the opportunity to meet with Tim Cook and have Tim say, no.
It's a very important app, both for Apple and for Uber.
Right.
Uber can't afford not to be on iPhones. That would kill its business. And Apple, now I don't know if Apple makes money. I guess they do. They get a percentage,
of
right?
So I don't know, of every ride?
That's an interesting question. But it's certainly, if Uber wasn't on an iPhone, that would hurt Apple iPhone sales at the very least, right? Oh, you can't use Uber. You got to get an Android phone to use Uber. That wouldn't be good either. And it would be a black eye. So when an app is that big, I think it's not unreasonable for Apple to give them special treatment. But you're right, that's special treatment. Other app developers might say, hey, that's not right.
And I think this was 2015. So since then, we've seen Uber break all these rules with self-driving cars.
Yeah.
They've,
it's not surprising that they did this.
Lots of sexual harassment, just people reporting sexual harassment and then, being told, oh, no, yes, we'll take care of it. That's that person's first offense. And then finding out that is actually that person's 12th offense. But they were a really good engineer, so they wanted to break that rule. So it just seems to me like maybe we should have known 2 years ago. We should have known maybe we as iPhone users had the right to know, saying like, here's what Uber was doing.
Why didn't they tell us?
Yeah, here's what Uber was doing.
Yeah.
They were doing it for this reason.
That's an interesting
we understand.
point.
We told them, we warned them. And
Apple was complicit because they didn't reveal that this had been going on.
Maybe.
They stopped it, but they didn't reveal it. Well, there's another tidbit in there that is even more shocking, in my opinion.
I feel bad because I recommended this service.
I have too. So there's a service called Unroll.me, unroll.me. And what it does is you give it access to your Gmail account, and it unsubscribes you from newsletters. Very handy. And I guess now we are going to have to start reading the terms of service, because had you read the complete terms of service, buried within is notification that we will be reading your email, looking for information, and possibly selling that information to third parties.
To monetize.
To monetize, because it's a free service. What we found out from this article in the New York Times is that Uber had been buying from Unroll.me, which is owned by the way, is purchased by a company called Slice. I also use Slice, and I bet Slice is doing this too. But Uber had purchased information about who's using Lyft,
like
their
your
competition.
Lyft receipts.
Because you get Lyft receipts in your email. Unroll.me says, well, we anonymized those, but of course never trust anybody who says, oh, we anonymized it. There's all sorts of ways of de-anonymizing it. I'm not sure that Uber was doing that. But I feel like it's a very big violation that you're going through my email ostensibly to unsubscribe me from newsletters, but you're also looking for receipts from merchants so that you can sell it to their competition, that I'm using that merchant. Uber says, we just wanted to know how well Lyft was doing. It was part of our competitive research, which, by the way, is cutthroat. Every company does it. We don't do it because we don't care. But every other company does it. And it's a big part of business and big business. I know about that. Anyway, kind of a shocking revelation. At this point, it's probably important. Unroll.me was it Slice's CEO that wrote the apology? He said he was heartbroken to learn. He knew this. He's not heartbroken to learn.
He's heartbroken to learn that people were upset about it.
He's heartbroken to get caught.
Yes.
And, of course, they should rewrite their terms of service. In fact, before you sign up, they should say, hey, just so you know, the way we do this, Slice is free too, is by looking through all your stuff and then selling whatever we find to the highest bidder. You might want to, if you're worried about privacy, reconsider using tools that go through your Gmail for convenience. And there's a lot of them, and I bet you they all do that. That's how they make money, right?
Yeah, it's a little ironic though that this tool that was designed to keep you from getting spammed was selling your information.
The apology was from Unroll.me on their blog. We can do better, they said. Yes, you can. And by the way, unroll me. Unroll me. I know.
Unroll me.
I am immediately I delete my account. I use Slice too, because Slice lets you know when you got packages coming. And there was an interesting post, John Gruber refers to this as well on Hacker News, by somebody who said, well, we were unnamed company looking at buying Unroll Me, and one of the things that we learned in our due diligence was they had been storing user information in unsecured Amazon S3 buckets and all sorts of stuff. And just really, it's a rat's nest of problematic privacy policies, and very concerning, and might be time for all of us to kind of rethink our. I mean, look at your Gmail. You can go and see who's got permission to look at your Gmail. It's probably dozens of other services.
All right. Happier news. Ilago, they have a new iPhone stand. Do you remember the little Apple Watch stand?
And Trivago has a new spokesperson. Huh. Who's Ilago? Oh, I love the Ilago.
This is a
I use the Ilago.
And you
yeah,
have,
did
you have the little Apple Watch stand that's, I thought you got that.
No, I didn't get that one. I have the little rubber Mac that I put my Apple Watch in.
Yeah, that's what this is.
That's from Ilago?
But this is you can put your whole iPhone in it. So
wait a minute, it turns it into a iPhone
stand. Yeah, look at it. Isn't it
I
cute?
do have that. Oh my God.
It's so cute. So you can flip your whole phone. It works with the 6, the 6S, and the 7.
That's brilliant.
You know, The Verge gave it a review and said it wasn't great. It was because I guess it's $35. So
well, you wouldn't want to use it like that guy's using it like as a.
You just want it by the side of your bed.
Yeah, you just put it by the side of your bed.
It's cute. It's very cute.
Oh, that is adorable. It's just rubber. It's molded rubber. It's not expensive. In fact, the Apple Watch one's cheap.
It's $15. So I think that's what The Verge was sort of saying, or Tom Scott was saying. It's like a little bit too expensive for just your retro habit.
And you have to take the case off, which is you don't have a case on your Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's true. And the Apple Watch, it works because then it puts it in nightstand mode. Where you can use it.
I love it. And it's so cute. I got a little Mac just looking at me. Hello.
So we got some feedback. Over the weekend, I did a segment on the screensavers about how to clean your AirPods. Hopefully you used it. And
we did. We loved it. And
did you clean your AirPods?
I ran them through the dishwasher.
Don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. So I got an email from Mark, who he says he doesn't have AirPods, but he had this cleaning tip anyway. Wondering what you think about this. He says, when I tend to hang on to an old toothbrush after I move on to the next toothbrush. They're great for cleaning small items and would probably work great for cleaning the AirPods.
I do that, exactly.
Little toothbrush.
Actually, I do that because I use an electric toothbrush, the Oral-B, so I save that when I get a new head. And you should do that every few months with a toothbrush, or electric or not. I keep the old ones, and then you have an electric toothbrush that you can use, and that's great. Zzz, it really vibrates like crazy. Be careful. The only risk, and you were careful, is that you don't want to damage the drivers behind the screen in your earphones. On my Etymotics, those are the in-ears that I use most of the time, they actually understand, because they go in your ear. You're going to get earwax on them. They're going to get cruddy after a while. They have filters, little filters that are, I don't know, a few millimeters away from the drivers. They're far enough away from the drivers that they give you a tool to remove the filters and pop in a new one. They come with extra filters, and that's a really great way to do it. I wish Apple would do that. But watching your segment, it's pretty clear that grill that you're cleaning is not the driver. It's the driver somewhere behind it. So you don't want to stick stuff too far in there, in those perforations, because you don't want to. If you damage the driver, the headphone just won't work. It'll sound buzzy or bad.
And some people actually did run them through the dishwasher. I mean, through they were in their pocket and laundered their pants.
Yeah, laundered them.
And some people had no problem at all, and others
wouldn't recommend
were ruined.
So. They're not designed to do that.
Yeah. We have a voicemail from Scott, who it's about podcasts. Can we play that, Brian?
Hey, Megan and Leo. This is Scott from White Bear Lake. Minnesota, and I'm taking your advice and jumping on Pocket Casts. Now, here's the question I have. How do I get rid of the content that goes to my Apple Podcast app so I free up that space? Do I just go in and delete those episodes? I've got some on automatic subscriptions. Give me a little help. Thanks, and love the show.
Well, you just delete what's there, you know, the old content, and you stop the subscriptions. Otherwise, you'll keep downloading.
It's pretty easy to go to, here's my podcasts, and they make it pretty easy. You just hit edit, and then you just
there you go.
Slide it. I think
no, the left. See the left, the dot? Hit the dot.
Yeah, and then you just delete it, and then delete it. And then
you're deleting all our shows.
Well, I don't use podcast apps. I use Overcast, or I use Pocket Cast.
You know, I have to say, we really want to encourage people to use those apps because if you subscribe, you get every episode, and we want you to download every episode if you possibly can. I know a lot of you watch on the streams, or you'll hit the show on the website, and we don't really get credit for that. So if you could just sign up for iOS today, and we don't care what app you use, but just sign up to get it down every week. That way you'll always have it. You can listen to it offline, and it's better for us because, you know, what we've noticed is I think a lot of people watch streaming because it's very volatile. The numbers are very volatile. And
if
you subscribe, please subscribe because that way that smooths that out. It's a little better for us.
So yeah, keep your subscriptions just to our podcast and delete the subscriptions to the rest of them.
Well, don't have multiple. I'm not asking you to have a subscription in every podcast client. Just subscribe once. I don't want you to have more than one copy. but yeah, you can turn off that subscription. That's the only trick on that is you can delete them easily, but turn off the subscription so it doesn't download more. You don't want to waste bandwidth.
No, you don't. We also got a voicemail from Andrea with a request.
I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I love your show. I really enjoyed Leo being a surgeon today. My tip is that it would be nice. I know you have a lot of people that have been with your show a long time, but maybe some of the like one tip a day about like the basics of using iPad, even if you got users that might already know how to use it, just like the beginning, just points like some of the basics here and there for like the new listeners that might be coming to your show, because I've only been listening maybe about 6 months, but you've been very helpful. Thank you. Bye.
Great tip, Andrea. You're absolutely right. Maybe like a welcome to iPad segment where we show you kind of the basics. I like that idea.
Next week for Andrea. We'll call it Andrea's tip.
Andrea's Corner.
Andrea's Corner.
And people will wonder in years to come, are you Andrea? Where's Andrea? Well, she created this many years ago, and she's no longer with us. But what is? I mean, we can do something right now. I mean, what is? I'll show you a tip.
Okay, show me a tip.
This is for you, Andrea. You already know, I'm sure, you figured out that you swipe down from the top to get. There's 2 pages, and this is actually a useful tip in a lot of context. A lot of times, designers kind of get a standard thing that they all do, but nobody ever explains it to you. So when you swipe that down, there's 2 pages. How do you know there's 2 pages? See these 2 little dots at the bottom? The bright white one is the one you're on. So since there's one over that way, if I swipe this way, I'll get the other page. And now the dot is moved over, and I'll get the other page. So there's 2 pages to your notifications pane when you swipe down. And you may not immediately know that. It'll swipe down to the one you did last. So these are my notifications. One of the things I love about the iPhone is it's easy to delete all your notifications because you have Force Touch. You can hold it down, and it will say clear all notifications. On iOS, if you want to clear these, it only keeps a week's worth, but you have to one by one go through them. But you can, if you click the X at the top of a chunk, a day's notifications, delete that whole day one at a time. This, though, so I gave you a couple of extra tips on the way to this tip, which is the main one I wanted to tell you. You may wonder, well, how do I get stuff in here? What's in here? And how do I control it? This is the what do they call it? The widgets panel? So, oops, let's go back. You have a number of widgets, and if you scroll to the bottom of your widgets, I'm activating widgets as I go. If you scroll to the bottom of your widgets, you'll see an edit button. That's how you control what's in your widgets. So let me press the edit button, And you can see, you not only can control what's there, but where it is. So I have my calendar in my left column. In my right column, I have a few things. But every time you install an app that has widgets, those widgets will get added to this long list. And all the ones with green dots are available to add. So let's say I want to add my podcasts client. I press that, and it will then add it to the list. But I can even then press and hold. And that's, by the way, this is another convention that designers use. Apple uses a lot of these. This red stop indicator, that's the one we were playing with before in the podcast app. When you hit that, it gives you a chance to remove something. And then these 3 lines on the right, that's an indicator that you can reorder it, drag it. So you press and hold it, and you can drag it. So customizing your widgets gives you really a very nice way. See, I can see what my podcasts are here, of controlling what you see on this screen. This widget screen, to me, is a very important part of iOS, and it's something that's probably worth taking a look at and seeing what widgets you'd like to have there, and then remembering that they're just a swipe away. They just swipe down, and you can get to them. So how about that for a couple of tips?
That's a good Andrea tip. I have an Andrea tip, too.
Okay, good.
My son showed me this over the weekend. You know how you can share a photo, the share sheet?
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could organize which come up first. So here, I can share to, I can airdrop.
Yeah, but I always find myself scrolling because I don't, it's always over on the right,
So you click more.
Scroll all the way to the right for the 3 dots.
Yeah, for the 3 dots. And then let's say I mostly share to Pinterest. I can turn on Pinterest, which and
see
move
those,
it up.
That's that same
3 dots.
little icon, those 3 lines. But sometimes they call it a hamburger menu. In this case, though, it's not a menu. It's an indication that you can drag and reorder. So it's your reorder button.
Yeah. So depending on where you mostly share photos to.
This is not. I'm sure somewhere all of these little buttons and icons and conventions are documented. But the problem is they're conventions, and they emerge and they change over time. And it's like learning a foreign language. You're learning a new language. You're learning a design language. And Apple has a unique design language. And there's no tool tips, no pop-ups, nothing to tell you what those 3 lines are. So you have to just know, or have somebody like your son show you.
Or you.
Yeah. So I think that those are really, I think we spend more time talking about what are those dots? What are those? What do those red stop signs mean? And why are they there? And what's the convention? It's like learning a new language. So thank you, Andrea. That's a great suggestion. We'll take that to heart.
We have another suggestion from Sanjay from Boston.
Hi, Megan and Leo. I love your show. This is Sanjay from Boston. A quick suggestion for you for a show is 3D Touch on the iPhone. There's lots of new things. For example, pressing the 3D Touch on the light, for example, gives you 3 options, medium, high, and low. Those kind of things would be really nice to have in one single show. A 3D Touch show, please. Thank you.
Great
Again,
suggestion.
Sanjay from Boston. Love your show.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Sanjay. Great. Another great suggestion. And that is really in the same vein, because 3D Touch is an evolving standard, and apps are evolving. They're adding capabilities. So, yeah, let's maybe next week spend some time with 3D Touch. It's only available on the iPhone. It's not on the iPad. But I think Apple is going to continue with it, go forward with it. So, and certainly developers are adding capabilities. That flashlight example, or torch, if you're using it in the UK example, is really good. If you force touch the flashlight, it'll give you 3 levels of brightness. That's handy.
And I've got one more voicemail with another tip.
Wow. We're loaded with riches today.
Hi, Megan and Leo. This is Robert from Torrance, California. I have an iPhone 6S, and as you know, the 3D Touch on the keyboard allows you to bring up a cursor. Did you know that on the iPad Pro, I have a 9.7-inch, that if you put 2 fingers on the keyboard, it brings up a cursor? I found that out kind of by accident. So, or I think someone pointed out that feature to me. I didn't know if you know that. Okay, hope that something you didn't know. Okay, bye.
This is a great example of a feature that we have mentioned, but bears repeating frequently, and I always forget it's there. So let's start a new note. We're gonna start. This is my note, and we're gonna put a lot of stuff. And let's say the cursor now is kind of at the bottom, and you want to go to the top. There's no arrow keys. There's no mouse. But if you press and hold, right? Or is it 2 fingers? There it is. Sorry. With 2 fingers, you now have a trackpad. Now, this requires an iPad Pro, but you have a trackpad. You have the capability of moving the cursor around. You saw I was doing selection, which is really cool. That is something that people don't know about, because like a lot of features of iOS, it's not documented. It's somewhere online there's a help file or something, but you don't get a manual with an iPad, and there's no affordance on the iPad for like tooltips, which you see on some operating systems, where if you hover your finger over something, a tip saying, oh, if you press this, it'll do. There's nothing like that. The only way to really find out is to say, well, I wonder what that camera does, or I wonder what that squiggle means, and tap it and see. So I do encourage people to experiment, but how would you know to do that one? I love it. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
So let me, because I'm not sure I've got this quite right. So obviously I have to take it off the keyboard, because the physical keyboard prevents that. 1 touch doesn't do it. 2 touches allows you to move around. How did I get the selection going, though? Was that 1 touch
cursor?
Followed by 2 touches? No, the cursor I get with 2 touches. See, it's not working now.
You mean to select?
I'm a lefty.
Things?
Yeah, so I get a cursor with 2 fingers, but when I first did it, I got a selection. Did you tap? Oh, you spread your fingers out. Oh. See, if you got really good at that, I think that would be a very handy thing to know. Right? So if you want, let's say I wanted to select this paragraph, I could just put the cursor at the top, 2 touch it, and then spread my fingers out. Select it all. There. That's handy. All right.
So as it's become clear, I finally checked our voicemail box and found so many good voicemails.
Well, we're sorry we never checked it before.
I know.
Was some of those from last year?
No, they were mostly from March.
Okay.
But 757-504-iPad. 757-504-iPad. Call. If we love videos too, then you don't have to you can look at something else besides our face. So, you can send a video, post it on YouTube, send the link to Megan at twit.tv.
Let me correct myself. I think I said iPad Pro. That works on any iPad with iOS 9 or up.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
not
excellent.
iPad Pro.
So we were talking about spring cleaning. I was reading this magazine article while you were talking about how taming that junk
I have some junk
drawer for good. And you know how I'm reading this magazine article?
Texture?
Texture.
I love texture.
I love texture. It's like a candy store for me. Like all the magazines you could ever want.
Easiest way to describe it is Netflix for magazines. So you pay one flat rate and you have access to more than 200 of the best magazines in the world. All the magazines, really, that you want. You're a Red Book reader, are you? That's really?
I read everything. I can read anything.
Okay, so that's the beauty part.
I wouldn't subscribe to just Red Book,
right.
but I have
But
everything
there's stuff
here.
in there. I do the same thing, like Billboard. It's expensive to subscribe to Billboard magazine, but it's really fun to know what the Hot 100 is. That's where all the lists are of what the hot tunes are. So this is a really good example. Of course, it's got the magazines you read all the time, PC World and Wired. It's got great tech magazines. It's got National Geographic. It's got The New Yorker, which I read religiously. In fact, I used to get the paper subscription of The New Yorker. It ended up costing almost as much as Texture. In fact, yeah, I think it was as much as Texture. And I got a pile of old magazines, the clutter on my coffee table, plus the guilt. And I don't know, they never talk about this, but it actually was a deterrent because I would get so far behind in The New Yorker. For some reason, just because I have it there in Texture, I can read one article or not read it, but I've always got it there. You get the current issue with every page, by the way, including the ads. That's the full magazine, plus back issues, plus features you don't get in print like, well, videos. And if you like the photography magazines, I get a lot of photography magazines, I have to point out that the photographs look better on your iPad than they do on paper, because they have to screen them on paper, and they're just, you can see the dots on the iPad you see, or the iPhone or the Android device, because it works on all of those. You're seeing those pictures the same way the photographer saw them. They're much, much more beautiful. The Textures app is searchable. You can't search a magazine. That means you can find content you want, mark what you like. They have curations, so you will discover new stuff. Maybe you never even heard of Redbook, but the editors will pick a great article based on what you read, and you can go, oh, wow, Esquire, Consumer Reports, Men's Health, GQ, In Style. They have all the gossip magazines. I confess, I'm not going to buy People magazine. I'm going to read it as fast as I can at the checkout stand. But now I don't have to anymore. If I really want to know what's going on with Miranda and Scott, or whoever, I don't made that up, then I can check it out. I get everything. Rolling Stone, every month, something important to read in Rolling Stone. They're doing some great reporting right now. You know, with politics being on everybody's mind, this is a great time to read politics from all different angles and get a much more elaborate point of view than you would get just by scanning Twitter or Facebook. Look at all the car stuff: Motor Trend, Road and Trek, Truck Trend. I never even heard of Truck Trend, but I'm going to start reading it. Lisa wants to get a truck. Alpha Dogs for your Alpha fans. Wow. Hot Rod, Cycle World, Car and Driver, of course. Now, normally this is $10 a month, $9.90 a month. You get over 200 magazines, but we want you to try it. We think so much of this. I love this, that I want you to try it free for 2 weeks. I have to warn you, you're going to get so spoiled. Pick your favorites, by the way, and it'll automatically download them so you have them when you get on an airplane and no connectivity. And by the way, I do that. It's wonderful. Just pick your favorites. They're automatically downloaded. And I don't know if they want you to know this, but I'm going to tell you, you can have 5 different devices with your subscription, which means the whole family gets Texture. Texture.com/twit. Try it free for 2 weeks. Texture.com/twit. There's all the outdoors magazines. There's the cooking. By the way, if you love to cook, having great cooking magazines is fantastic. And there's just a wealth of, look at all the magazines. There's hundreds of new recipes every week. Texture.com/twit.
It's app cap time.
Wow, you're ready to do...
I am ready to do...
To rappel down a cliff, I think.
Yeah, whose helmets are these? And did they have lice?
No.
Okay.
These are helmets that were brought to me by public safety officers in a variety of areas. That one is the Ventura Search and Rescue for Ventura
awesome.
County. And this one, I think, is from the Los Angeles Police Department Tac Squad.
Huh.
So you could probably hit me with a baton and I'd be fine.
I like wearing mine at a jaunty angle.
Why are we wearing helmets right now?
It's app cap time.
Oh!
Our favorite app
I thought it was
the week.
because somebody was going to come strike us.
So I know you opened, I'll go first. You opened this over the weekend, the
I did. Yeah, this was what they handed out at Facebook's developers conference, the F8.
So
this is a 360-degree camera.
It's a 360-degree camera that fits on the end of your iPhone or your iPad. It works on the iPad too.
Did I open yours by accident? I'm sorry if I did.
No, I don't. Tanya just said it's here.
Oh.
And so I came running, and then my kids and I.
Have you used it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Okay. Well, I used it this morning. You can see me trying to figure it out.
So it's got 2 big lenses on the front and the back, and then it stitches into a 360-degree video that you can then scroll around in. Works on Facebook, works on YouTube.
There's my desk.
You can actually, if you're watching on a phone, you can just tilt your phone to scroll around.
Yep, but not on the iPad, strangely. So, here's what the ceiling of our office looks like.
And it's really great for if you have a Gear VR or Daydream, you could put on one of those VR visors and look around.
We did it. We used the Daydream because the iPhone sort of fits in the Daydream.
Really?
A little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
It does. It's not great, but so they said I read a review that said you had to take the case off your case, but I don't have to take
Depends
the case.
on your case.
So it fits into your Lightning.
Goes in the Lightning port.
Fits in the Lightning port.
That's a little weird because the Lightning port is on the bottom.
Yeah, it is a little weird. And then it automatically opens up the app.
And it opens up, fortunately, upside down, so it works.
So I can do a video, I can do a photo, or I can stream live if I want to.
This is better quality. Remember we talked about the Ricoh Theta S. We've seen other cameras like this 360 from Samsung. This is a higher quality, right? I mean, this is a very good quality image. It's not 4K, I don't think. Let me look at that.
It's HD.
Yeah, it's 1080p.
But it's not 4K.
So 1920 by 960 video at 30 frames a second. or if you're going to do a still, 3840 by 1920. So that's pretty high resolution.
Okay, so I am going to Facebook live stream this right now to my Facebook page, to the public.
Oh, you can live stream a 360.
Say something interesting.
We're waiting for the hostages to be released. Right now,
Wait, save it. It's still initial. Oh, there we go. Now go.
Hello and welcome to our live Facebook stream. I'm Leo Laporte. You can just call me Sergeant. And we're standing outside of the 7-Eleven waiting for the Slim Jims to be released. Oh, wait a minute. Are you doing search and rescue?
And we're standing outside.
Oh, my God. It's loud. So I want you to see this. Now, that's the streaming image, which is lower quality. But it is important because the biggest distinction between all these cameras at this point, and I like it that this could do real time. So there's enough horsepower in the iPhone to stitch this. It has to stitch these two together and kind of remove the distortion. And I like it that you could stream live with it. But you see the quality is a little bit degraded there. That's going to be the questions you ask of any of these cameras, and there are a number of them, is, well, what's the resolution of the resulting image? You want the higher the better. And can it do it live? Samsung has released a Gear 360 for its new Samsung S8 that can do the same thing, but it's a 4K camera. It's a little more expensive. This is how much?
$250, $249. That I don't think that's very expensive.
It's the Gyroptic 360.
Gyroptic.
So,
yeah, I think it was cool. I'm going to stop this live stream right now.
GIROPTIC. That's attractive. And GIROPTC.com.
I went live for 1 minute.
iPhone or iPad, not Android.
Yeah, but, you know, if you have a Daydream, just a tip, your iPhone 7 will fit into it. So,
and it does, what is it? Why is there a cable in there?
You have to charge it.
It does have a battery in it. I see that they'd say there's a battery. I don't understand. So it's not enough juice in the lightning port to keep it going. But you do have to charge it. Stereo microphones, which is nice. It's a 915 milliamp hour battery in there, so that's enough to operate for a couple of hours. I like it that you could do live. Yeah.
And yeah, it takes, we took some pictures of it over the weekend. We had some fun with it. Let's see. Get out of here. That's a lot of pictures I took of that table. Yeah, so it takes some fun pictures too. That was...
Now that's unadjusted.
Unadjusted.
Right.
I don't know what that means, but yes.
I mean, isn't it? I mean... So these aren't stitched, in other words.
No.
Yeah. If you uploaded it to something that understood it or ran it, do they come with some software? They must. Yeah, there's the app.
The app, yeah.
Yeah, so this is unprocessed. If you process it, then you get an image you can scroll around inside. But this is what it sees.
Oh yeah, I guess I would see that in the app.
Okay, it does say made for Android, so I guess we have obviously the iOS version.
Yeah, so
but
that's
there is a version for Android.
stitched in the app.
You'd have to get one that works with your particular phone.
And then, yeah, if you were going to use
that's what it sees. That's what the camera actually sees. Yeah.
So you switch that down there.
Right. Cool.
Yes, so
Gyroptic 360.
We have to give this back, sadly, but I think it's on my list of things I need to have.
You know, I'm waiting for Samsung to come out. You know, I got the Galaxy S8, and I'm waiting for them to come out with the Gear 3. I have the original Gear 360, which would work with this, but the new one is higher resolution. So I'm waiting. And that one you don't connect. It connects via Bluetooth. It's you don't actually have to physically put it on the camera. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is something where it's like, you know, you have to remember to bring it around with you.
I think this may be this phone may be kind of a portent of what the next iPhone will look like. This bezel-less screen, you see, it goes all the way, and it's also tall and thin, so you can hold it in one hand. The problem with getting a large screen like this is a 6.2-inch screen is they get too fat to hold. But by making it a different aspect ratio, a taller and thinner one, I think the iPhone 8 or iPhone 10 or whatever Apple calls it may look a little like this.
Really?
We'll see.
I like the slenderness.
No fingerprint on the front, right? Or you know, it's on the back. iPhone, according to rumor, is going to put a fingerprint reader underneath the screen that somehow you can. Oh, just like that.
Well, it worked. How did that open?
I have no idea.
Was it your face?
You know,
did
this phone
see your facial recognition?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it has face recognition. I'll show you another weird thing. Here, can you go on my single? It's weird because when you lick the back, Oh, it's not doing it anymore.
What? How did you learn this?
It pops up a credit card.
When you lick the back, it pops up a credit card.
I don't know where that would be useful. But it does.
I'm really sorry I'm not live streaming that. I always turn the camera off too soon.
I will show you my app now.
Okay.
Because I know you've been, a little overexcited during this entire show, and I think it's time for you to take a nap. Don't you love naps?
Yes.
Shouldn't we all take more naps?
Yes.
Problem with a nap in the daytime, you go to sleep, and if you sleep too long, you wake up and the rest of the day's shot because you're groggy. So I use Pizziz. I heard you snicker. Do not snicker at Pizziz.
That's a funny word.
Yeah, P-Z-I-Z-Z. This has been around for almost 20 years. I've been using Pizziz since the old screensavers. That's how long it's been around. But they've really updated it. What Pizziz they have nap or full overnight sleep. I'll do a nap real quick. Okay. What Pizziz will do is it lets you set the time. By the way, typically the right time for a nap is about 20 to 30 minutes. That's enough to regenerate without having you be groggy in the rest of the day. The problem is, this has an alarm. So this will play, well, let me tell you, let me show you what it'll play. It's going to generate, and this is different every time. You can listen to the audio. It's going to generate a special Pizziz audio track using neuro-linguistic programming. You're not hearing anything?
I'm hearing.
I don't hear it.
Go to sleep.
How strange. Why I don't hear it, I don't know, for some reason. Anyway, so there's a guy in it, and you hear he's walking, it's guided, and in it he will say things, after you fall asleep, he'll say things like, send me all your money. No, he won't. He will say things like,
you gotta monetize.
When you wake up, you will feel refreshed and ready to take on the day. You sleeping rebuilds the muscles, and it's very all positive messages. The sounds, Tibetan bells, a variety of sounds encourage sleep and kind of program you. In fact, there's a kind of a rhythm to this that once you get used to it, you fall asleep almost instantly because you're kind of programmed to do so. And then at the end, it slowly wakes you up. You know what I should do is do a really short nap. That's all right. I'll let you do this as an exercise. We can
take a long nap right now.
We should take a nap. At the end, it will say, okay, it's time to wake up. Begin to come up, that slowly. But if you don't wake up, then it goes, it will build up to a point where it's going to wake you up. You get an actual alarm. The sleep one doesn't work like that. The sleep one, in fact, I'm not sure if it runs all 8 hours. I think it only runs for about an hour, then turns itself off. But it still will start to wake you up at the time that you say you want to be woken up. So this is a free. What we're doing now is free. They do have a paid version that gives you a few extra features, premium features, but not a significantly. It's $100, by the way, for 1 year. So it's not cheap. I'm not sure I would do the paid version. Try the free version first, just to make sure that you don't need anything additional, because you get a lot of stuff. You get the sleep and the nap module. It's not updated. If you subscribe, you get updates to that with additional dreamscapes and themes. I'm not looking at it, so I don't really care. Most of the features are available in the free version, but there's a female voice. If you don't like the male voice, you can get a female voice. You can skip dreamscapes during playback. You get history. You can have different alarm sounds. So there's a little more flexibility. But frankly, I have used the free version for years for both napping and sleeping. And it's great if you're in a busy area where it's hard to fall asleep because of noise, traffic noise and stuff. We've talked about white noise generators and stuff. But this is a little different. The idea is it's going to talk you to sleep, relax you, play very relaxing sounds and music to cover up the noise, and it's going to give you messages, subliminal messages, of very positive messages. I really like Pizziz. It's been around for a long time. P-Z-I-Z-Z or P-Z-I-Z-Z if you're outside the United States. Pizziz is my app cap.
Well, I like to combine our app caps. So I think after the show, you should take a nap, and then I'll take a video of a 360-degree live video of you napping.
Drool. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that'll be exciting.
So tune in to that at Facebook after the show. So I think we're done here.
I think we are. We thank you all for being here. We do iOS Today on Mondays. That's about 1:30 Pacific. Could be 1. Depends on, how anxious we are to get started. 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern Time, 20:30 UTC. If you want to join us in studio, we have a lovely Larry and his wife. I forgot your name. Let me get it right. Kathy. Larry and Kathy are in studio visiting up from Santa Barbara.
And Evan.
And Evan is here too. He's up from Phoenix. If you want to join us in studio, just email tickets at twit.tv. We'll make sure we have a place for you to sit. If you can't watch live, we do have on-demand versions on our website, twit.tv/iOS, on YouTube, and also, for download. And the best thing to do is to find that podcast app, subscribe, and get it every week. Audio or video, your choice. But I hope you will come back next week and join us. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Megan Morrone.
Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. And don't throw your helmet.
Okay, I'll just throw the gyroptic.
On iOS Today. Bye-bye.